So once you've checked your mounting surface for obstacles and determined that it's going to fit, you're going to want to determine the mounting height for your brackets. A general rule of thumb is about a 3/12 pitch on your awning. So on a 12-foot projection awning, you're going to want about a 10-foot mounting height on your awning. For all other projections, you can check the mounting height chart that's included in your installation instructions. Once you determine that height, you're going to lay it out on your wall. You might want to snap a chalk line or draw a pencil line to line up your brackets nice and easy. We, for demonstration purposes, have put a header board up, and we have a nice straight line to go by, so we're just going to line our brackets up with that. So once you've determined the mounting height of your awning, you're going to want to determine the placement of your awning on the wall. What we're going to do is we're going to take a measurement of the awning, get the exact dimension. In our case, it's 6 foot. And we're going to take that and transfer it up onto your wall. You're going to mark that out up here on your mounting surface, the ends of your awning. And that's going to help you determine your bracket layout. So we recommend leaving the awning in the plastic to keep it protected as long as possible. But you can still see the parts in there, so you can still do this part. You're going to want to measure from the shoulder to the end of the awning to determine where your brackets cannot go, because you can't put a mounting bracket right here. And actually, even out here, you can't, in our case, you can't put a bracket here because our brackets are too wide. Sometimes the shoulder is going to be further in, and you'd be able to put a mounting bracket out here, which you can use our installation instructions to determine what we recommend there. So we usually like a bracket outside of the shoulder and then one to the inside of the shoulder. So for our purposes, we're going to measure this for 5.5 inches. I'm going to mark that out on my wall where I cannot have a bracket. So now that you've determined where your shoulders are on your awning, you're going to mark them out on your wall so you don't put a bracket there. In our case, we're 5.5 inches. So I'm going to make a mark at that point from the end of my awning to the end of my shoulder. And this is where we cannot put a bracket. We can go anywhere this direction. And so we're going to mark this out and on both ends. So now that you've determined the shoulder location, you're going to want to determine your exact bracket location. Normally, we'd like to have a bracket to the outside of the shoulder and one to the inside of the shoulder. And we recommend no closer than 5 inches and no further than 18 inches. So normally you'd put your outer one about 5 inches away and your inner one closer than 18, somewhere between 12 and 18. In our case, we don't have room for that outside, like I said, so we're going to put our first bracket right here about 5 to 6 inches off the inside of the shoulder. So I'm going to make a mark at the 5-inch, and that will be our bracket location. If you have a studded wall, you're going to have to go wherever the stud is. So that's going to determine, wherever the center, dead center of your stud is, where you're going to have to put your bracket, so you don't have a choice. So in our case, we have this header board, so we can mount it wherever we want. So now that you've got your bracket position determined, you're going to mark it. And then you're going to pre-drill it. If you're using a 3/8 inch lag, we recommend using a 1/4 inch drill bit to pre-drill. Do that on both sides, and you're ready to mount it. So now that you've pre-drilled your holes, you're ready to mount the brackets. Before you do, we always recommend that you seal all holes that you've drilled in the wall with a good construction grade silicone sealant. In our case, we're inside, so we're not going to put it in today, but always fill your holes out to the top, and that way no water gets in. So we're ready to take our impactor and drive it in. So now that you got the lags in, you're going to always want to check your bracket for plumb. So you leave the top lag just a little loose so that you can level it up. And then you can tighten it up. And do that on both sides, and you're ready to put your awning up. So now that your brackets are mounted, you're going to find a bag of these pins in your accessory box. What you're going to want to do is remove this nut, slide it into the channel. There's 2 bolts per bracket, so you want to do the pin on both sides. And then for stainless steel, I always recommend that you use anti-seize. That way, if you ever need to remove the awning in the future, you can. And this one I use is like a lipstick bottle. It's less messy. Just a little dab will do you. You don't want much on there, otherwise it's going to get all over the place. And then I set it on the back of the bracket there. You can also set it somewhere convenient. Like I could put it up top of the bracket here if I needed. It's always convenient for me just to put it right on the back side of the bracket here. That way when you go to put your awning up, they're easily accessible.